Hi, Bethany.
Oh yeah. Hi Paul, how are you?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm all right, thank you.
Good. Just give it a couple minutes, see a few others come on, okay?
Okay, sure.
Been up to anything today? Working from home?
I'm in the middle of, or started filling out an HMO application for Bromley Council for the
Okay.
property that I already have. Yeah.
HMO application, did you say?
Yeah, the license, because I don't have a license at the moment. And I need to remortgage. Now need a license.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mortgage already? Can I nick that business?
Sorry?
Have you sorted your mortgage out already?
Yeah, I've got somebody who's looking into it for me. Are you a broker as well?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Next time, maybe?
Yeah. I didn't know that. So yeah, maybe next time.
Is that where you're based, over in Bromley?
Not Bromley, but South London. I live in Blackheath.
Oh, yeah, nice. Nice.
Yeah. What about yourself?
I'm in sunny East London.
Oh. I'm sorry.
All right. Someone's got to do it. Which one of my colleagues is that coming on?
Roberts.
Michael, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. You?
Yeah, well, thanks.
Evening, Bethany.
Hi, Michael.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm well, thank you. Very well indeed.
Still not had a haircut then? Oh, you've got your camera on today.
You know what? I just made a mistake. I was actually hiding. I was actually blocking the camera with the remote control, and he said it just started. I just picked it up to turn the TV off, and I was like, no! Put it back. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. Here we go. Yeah, let me just turn this garbage off.
I'm sporting my afro with pride.
Yeah, but you can grow an afro. That's the difference. Mine just looks like a ring donut, bro. Oh dear. So how are we doing today anyway? We good?
Yeah.
Good, good.
Wednesday, 12th. Thursday. We'll give it another couple of minutes, yeah, and then we'll.
Yeah, see who comes on. Yeah.
We had more people registered, but not sure. Did you get a reminder email just now, Bethany?
Ooh, I don't think I did.
Okay, not to worry.
No, I didn't.
Not to worry. Not to worry. Tuesday, 12th.
Yeah, I'm still seeing orders come through, but I don't know why they just don't click on the link. Which is what I've done. Let me just see if I can send a couple emails.
How many people have booked to come on today?
Got 12 I can see so far.
Do they all usually turn up? Or just...
You know what it is? I find that in this moment in time, there's so many people that are saying, register for this Zoom call, register for this webinar, you know, and I kind of register for so many things myself. I'm guilty of it myself. I register for so many things myself. And it's only a couple of days after I'm like, I didn't log on to that Zoom. I didn't log on to that webinar.
So you put everything in your calendar?
I do put it in the calendar, but it just depends whether or not it pings up on my phone, if it comes up on my computer. Like I was on my laptop today, this one literally pinged up, and that's why I've jumped in, you know. So it just depends where my reminders come back. Here we go, that's Rose.
Hi there.
Hi, Rose.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hello. How's everyone?
You okay?
Yeah, not too bad. Sorry, not a good background, so I'm mute at the moment.
That's all right.
You know you can change your background.
I just remembered that. I keep meaning to upload a picture from Helsha Beach or something in the Caribbean. Hi, Ola.
You're on mute.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
I'm on mute. Hi, Ola.
Yeah. Let's see.
Can you hear us okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Good evening, sir.
Perfect. Hi, Lisa.
Hi. Had to get
there.
the microphone. Sorry.
That's all right. Dylan, you are live. Hi, Dylan. All right, should we get started?
Yeah, let's crack on.
So this week, all right, tell you a little bit about us first before we just jump in. For those of you who don't know, we're the Black Property Group. We came together with an ethos of connecting people together, sharing knowledge and contacts, and facilitating wealth through property ventures. We spent a long time last year running a lot of property events, connecting people. We had some nice, good speakers coming in to share their experience. Hi, Lisa. Share their experience. Some people doing some really big deals and good things. We are happy to share. We've got a Telegram group where we share contacts and share information, news, property-related information. And we're now concentrating a little bit more on the facilitate wealth, which is really what our background is and why we originally came together. So due to the pandemic, we're not really running any events, and we're engaging with people through these deal clinics. And our focus right now is to find a deal and get a deal done ourselves. We're experienced investors. We've been around the block a few times, done a few different things. So we're coming together now to do some deals. And our focus is more around development deals, although, we've got experience in buying and refurbing new kitchen, new bathroom, flooring, electrics, that kind of stuff. We've done a fair amount of that. I know Rose has, and Michael definitely has. Michael's also done a bit of development. You don't mind if I speak for you, Mike?
No, go for it.
And Hannah's got sort of major project management experience on multi-million-pound IT projects and delivering those kind of things. So we are all come together, and we're looking more for development type deals. Now, I've got a really simple one today to show you. We're back in Walthamstow this week because, I'm the one who's out getting exercise, and I'm in Walthamstow, sunny East London, Bethany, like I said. So I spoke about a deal last week that we had that somebody had sent to us. This one I came across on my daily exercise, on my daily run, walk, jog, bike ride, whichever it was. And I'm just going to throw up, let me share my screen.
Just to append to that, Paul.
Yeah, go ahead.
For Ola's benefit, because I don't think I've seen you on a call before, but generally what we try to do is we try to encourage people who are looking at deals, looking at potential opportunities, and perhaps don't quite know how to figure it out, don't understand the opportunity that they're looking at, and we ask them to bring them to this forum so that we can break it down with them. Mm-hmm. In the instance where we don't have someone bring that, we share the stuff that we've been looking at, how we approach that, and based on our opinion, makes it a deal or doesn't make it a deal. And hope that you guys then benefit from the learning that comes from that. So ideally, we like to talk through what it is that you guys bring into us. If not, we will always share something that we're looking at. It may not necessarily be the deal we're about to do, because you want to have a degree of exclusivity over what it is that you're doing. So the last thing you do is shout it out to the world, and before you know, someone else is trying to do that deal on your behalf. Mm-hmm. We will always try and share opportunities that we're looking at, the reasons why we're looking at, the reasons why it is a deal, and the reasons why it isn't a deal. And it's just to encourage learning, it's to encourage a slightly more analytical viewpoint when you're looking at, is it just numbers, is it square footage, is it resale values, what is the exit? So we just try and look at it from those point of view. So sorry, I was just appending, because if Paul starts bringing his deal up, you might think, oh, is this all it's about? You know, we just come and talk about our deals. Well, actually, it's not. We encourage our members to bring stuff to us. Equally, because like Paul said, we're in the market to do some deals at the moment. So you potentially could have a deal that you bring to us that we're interested in. And not only will help you move that forward, but we could potentially invest in that ourselves, you know. So that just kind of gives you a premise of what this call is about. So
Thanks.
I've got one quick question though. So you guys do deals, like, do you guys come together and do deals together? And also, do you allow, or are you guys looking for investment, or would you be open to someone else actually putting money into a deal that you guys are already doing?
So two very good questions there. So yes and no is the short answer. You know, we offer an opportunity to, I guess, for want of a better phrase, earn and learn. So yes, you could potentially be investing in a project that we're doing, which will give you the insight to actually understand it whilst the project is going through. You're not just looking at the hypothetical, you're actually involved in the project from its through to its completion. You know, yes and yes is the short answer, basically.
Brilliant.
All right. So sorry, go on, crack on, Paul.
So yeah, let me share my screen. Sorry, I threw this together quite quickly. Actually, let me. Can you see that picture? Is that coming up right?
Yes.
All right. So I ran past this. I ran past this house, and I looked. What can anybody else see there? Can you see what I don't know if anyone can see what I saw. I don't know if it's even the right way to go about explaining this, but we've got a house here with these double gates, and I think, Michael, you might correct me, but I'm sure we can build right to that wall. When I've looked at other houses, you can go right to that wall on the edge there, right?
You've got potentially two opportunities. I mean, I can't see too clearly, but there may be a window.
Yeah.
At the top there, so you might have an issue with that. But generally, if that was a gable end wall, you've got two options. You can get a party wall agreement where you can build basically off of the gable end, or you will have to have. I think it's about a 40 mil gap between that gable end and your gable end. But in this instance, you might be limited. I just, you know, without seeing what that is or what purpose that window serves, it's difficult to answer whether or not you'd be able to build up to that level.
All right. So initially, the opportunity that I saw is to build on the end of that property, and I did spot the window. And you're right. Depending on what that serves, whether you could, you know, convince them to block it up and build next to it is another question.
Yeah. I mean, again, sorry, Paul, but without looking at the back, where's the pictures? Did you say?
Sorry, one sec. Yeah.
Yeah, so without looking at the back and not being able to see if there is a dormer extension out the back there, that literally could be, you know, because it's up in the eaves, so it's not going, unless there's a dormer up there, it's not going to be serving anything.
Yeah.
So it potentially isn't a problem, but, you know, it would be something to consider when approaching this. But then obviously if you're buying the house, you know, that's a completely different story. If you buy that house and you refurbish the house and build off the side of it, then it's your house, you know. But if you're just trying to build something next to it, then obviously you would have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, fair play. So, sorry, I'm not used to this switching screens business. 1 second. Now look, I'm even giving you the address because it's in sunny Walthamstow. So what's the deal here? As Michael rightly pointed out, and as I spotted, can we get another house on the side? Is the area big enough? I'm going to draw on Michael here because Michael's my development expert, but I did a Google measure on it. I did a desktop measure on that for the width, and I think I measured it at about 4.5 meters. But as it's not too far from where I live, I'll probably go and get a slightly proper measurement on it, if it makes any sense. But it measured up at 4.5 meters, I think, or 5 meters. Mike, do you know what the actual minimum is? Is there a minimum?
All I've seen them on 2.5, 3 meter plots. So
Right. So
yeah, I don't think, looking at those double gates, I don't think that would be an issue. That looks like more than substantially enough amount to fit a house.
right. So
And
some of the things, yeah, go on.
if they're narrower, you know, depending on the size of the garden, you just potentially would build further back than the run of that houses, subject to obviously the 45 degrees looking out the back window and you know, allowance of light and stuff like that. But without getting too technical, yeah.
Yeah. So some of the things that we need to kind of consider here is the area big enough? Some of the things Michael's just mentioned there, the window. Is there any precedent in the area where houses have been built on the end like that? Because, you know, typically on a road, houses are built in patterns. So if one house is there with that size of plot on the side, then typically the next block down has a similar size. So you look in the local area just to see if there's anything else that's been built like that. Does it fit in with the local plan? Every local authority has a local plan for development, whether they want more houses, do they want flats. On a little bit of investigation onto that one, I discovered that house is already split into 2 flats, which would make it interesting trying to buy the whole lot. We would probably have to find out who's got the freehold and see what we could do on the side. So is it viable? What's the GDV? What would the build cost be? How much would you be prepared to offer the landowner to see if there's a deal there? This is just a high level. I'm walking past, you know, do I need to spend any more time on it? These are the high level questions that I thought that I need to ask. Is there anything else, Mike, that we should be considering on this?
You pretty much, I mean, you would want to look at, under the is it viable, you would want to look at services and utilities to the particular plot. Now, the fact that you're at the end of the terrace of houses, then, you know, you're pretty 99 to 100% sure that there will be utility services running along there. If it was just a random plot in the middle of nowhere, then you would have to obviously bear in mind your costs for getting, you know, gas, water and electric up there basically. But yeah, I mean, what you've, as a high level, you know, analysis, what you've put there is more than adequate.
Good. Any questions anyone want to ask? Anything anyone want to add?
Yes, actually, I do have a question.
Go on.
Can you tell what the plot was used for before?
To me, it just looks like car parking on the side. I mean, it would definitely be attached to that house. So I don't think it's an individual plot where something was there, but we would discover that when we do the search on the title, I would imagine, if there was any use.
And another quick, easy way to do that. If you do look at Google Street View, if you click on Google Street View, it will allow you to look back at the pictures up to probably about 8 years back, I think it goes. So if there was anything on there before, you would have seen it in that Google Street View image. So that as part of your initial due diligence, always just look back on the Google Street View images and you'll be able to see what was or wasn't there.
All right.
Okay. So I just did a few quick random numbers.
Sorry, can I just ask a question? You know,
Yeah.
on the other screen, GDV, I know you got it there again. What does GDV stand for? Something development value?
It's,
Right.
yeah, it's gross development value, which is basically your end value, the market value at the end, whatever you've got. I said GDV there because you could put a couple of flats. Normally, if you're building 6 flats, then it's, you know, 6 times whatever the value of each flat is. Effectively, it's the market value of the development.
So you'll normally see GDV or DUV. If it's a refurb, you're more likely to use DUV, which is done up value, but ultimately it potentially means the same thing. GDV is slightly different because it's a gross figure based on, you know, cost per square foot. A way to sort of analyze or get to your GDV. Sorry, Paul, because I might be jumping the screen. So
yeah, let me go to the next slide, because I actually want to see if anyone else has got a deal, and we'll just run through this. Yeah. So, like I said, on a quick bit of due diligence, I realised next door was built into 2 flats, quite large ones as well, 76 square metres and 95 square metres upstairs. You know, based on the market values in that area, you know, like we looked at last week, a 2-bedroom flat, a large one like that, would probably sell for 450, and the larger flat, you know, 475. Now, I'm making some assumptions that we can get exactly the same on that plot as that we've got in the house. That might not be the case. We've got the window to address, and, you know, you need to adjust your numbers accordingly. But from a high level point of view, it's just somewhere to get an idea of where you might be. So, you know, I've got the GDV at 925 there. I might trim that down to 900. I might call it 875 to be conservative, especially when I'm negotiating with the vendor. You know, you want to understate your values a little bit to get the deal. So, build cost, again, I've worked on 1,500 per square meter. Again, I've based it on, I've assumed that we could get the same kind of property again. So that gave me a number there, 277,500. This is all high level stuff. It's not in any great detail. It's kind of a back of an envelope. Before you waste too much time getting into a deal, you have to look at the viability of it, whether it's worth going forward or not. In any build, there's going to be professional fees, planning consultants, architects. There's going to be finance costs for the development money, and then you need to build in some contingency fees. That 72.5, if I'm honest, I've plucked that out of the air. I know finance costs are going to be, I don't know, 40 grand maybe. Professional fees and contingency fees could be another. Again, I've just put something in there to have a high level idea of whether it's, you know, what I could approach this vendor with. So I, as an I'm an accountant by profession originally, so I always understate my values and overstate my costs. And then if something is still viable, then, you know, you can move forward on it. Mm-hmm. So the total cost of 350, GDV of 925. On any development deal, we've got to make 25% on cost. Is that right, Mike? I'm pretty sure.
Right, for it to be accepted. Yeah.
So the maximum, based on that 925 GDV, the maximum total cost would be 740. I've reversed engineered that, which would give us a profit margin of 185. And then we can work backwards and discuss what we might pay for the land. So the land cost, which is what I'm trying to establish here, if I was to approach the freeholder of that house or that land, what's the maximum I'd be prepared to pay for it based on this high level? And if I approach them and say, I could pay you X, I'd probably start at about 250 to be fair. You know, and I've got a maximum land cost of 390 there. If there's any interest, then we can talk about moving further, and, you know, then there's the bare bones of a deal. Does that make sense? I'm kind of rushing through it, but does that make sense? Has anyone got any questions?
So this would be your initial bit of due diligence that you would do. So you'd see your opportunity, you'd do the couple of checks that we talked about, Google Street View, what was previous land use. You know, you do all the stuff about checking in the area to see whether or not the project is viable, what's the likelihood of the application for planning being approved. You do all of that stuff, and then you do, or you would do this at the same time. You would have a quick look at an overview of numbers. So like Paul says, a lot of this is assumptions and estimations at this stage. You haven't really to the nuts and bolts of the deal at this stage. You just want to know, does this warrant me spending the time and effort that it's going to take to really put this proposal together in terms of going through in finer detail what are my build costs, what exactly are my professional finance fees. If you're trying to work towards a 25% profit on your GDV figure, you need to know that the maximum that you can offer this guy or this person for this piece of land is a 390. Because your figure is 390, you wouldn't go in at 390. You know, just like anything, you don't want to show your cards. You'd go in at 200, 250, feel it out, see what they say. If they accept the 250, there's no reason why you would, I mean, you could, you know, run off hopping and skipping to the bank, but equally you could say, well, look, you know, once we build this out, just to sweeten the deal, perhaps if there is an uplift over what we think is the potential end value on the potential profit margin, we can give you an additional percentage. So if you're struggling getting the deal done, you can offer those things in because you know you've got wiggle room to play with. I wouldn't. If I get neglected at 250, rejected at 250, I wouldn't then go in at 390. I'd maybe up it a little bit and say, okay, there's the potential that I might make a little bit more. So can we work out an additional 10% on my profits or something like that, where, you know, it still works for you. It still is going to give you that suitable amount of profit, and it just helps you to get this deal done. But as a high level, you don't really need to do anything more than what you see on this screen at the moment.
Yeah, that's taken me 15 minutes to pull that together, including putting it on the presentation. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for. That's not an on-the-market deal. That house isn't for sale. You know, my approach to things right now is to create the opportunities rather than, you know, find them, rather than it's on the market. You know, it's so, yeah, that's not on the market. You won't find it listed for sale anywhere. It's something that I've seen, and if it makes any sense, then I might find the vendor and approach.
Yeah. And again, assuming that is, you said it's 2 flats, so assuming the freeholder owns that property and the land next door, we all know what's going on in this current climate where, you know, people are being furloughed, being made redundant, people are unable to pay rents and stuff like that. So an opportunity like that becomes even more of an opportunity in a time like now, in a time of crisis where potentially the landlord has his back up against the wall because he's not getting any income out of that particular house. For someone to knock on his door, not literally, but someone to knock on his door and say, look, you know, we're really interested in this piece of land. Here's what we're willing to offer you. You could be presenting a lifeline to that guy. And, you know, before what you walk past almost every day and don't realize is an opportunity becomes a massive opportunity, especially in times like now. So these are things that you shouldn't disregard if you see them. Just, you know, 10, 15 minutes, Paul said it took to do some research into this, and you potentially could be making a life-changing amount of money, you know, in the next 8 to 12 months once you built it out.
So that being said, that's what I was looking at this week, amongst other things. Has anyone got a deal that they would like to discuss? Who's on? Has anyone got anything they would like to discuss?
Can I just say hello to Ola and Deborah? Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you.
You too.
Hey, Deborah.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry.
Good. I've just finishing my dinner.
Oh, good. Any deals? Any deals, guys? I'm gonna go on mute.
Yeah, has anyone got anything they would like to discuss?
We did have a discussion with a chap who said he was bringing...
Service accommodation.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, maybe he didn't join in the end. So, okay.
Any questions? Any questions anyone's got that they're looking at? Like, let's take the opportunity while we're here.
I've got a question, Paul. So you know how you came up with the the price per square meter? I think it was 185 or 2,000 and something.
£1,500 per square metre build cost.
Yeah. How would you work that out? I'm sure that maybe that's a London price, but how would I know how to work that out in another part of the country? How do you arrive at that build cost?
You are quite right. That is sort of a London standard. So you know, anything from 1,200 to 1,500 a square meter is your ballpark figure. 1,200 is going to be your slightly lower end quality of refurb. Maybe it's breeze, maybe it's all blocks rather than bricks and so on. And when you get to 1,500, and this build cost is not just your structure, this is your internal fit outs as well. Yeah. So the 1,500 is going to be, you know, quite a moderately high spec of build. In the north of England, I wouldn't be able to answer that question, but I guess the only way that you would be able to find that out is by approaching a number of local builders and just say, look, I have a project, and it can be hypothetically, because all you really want to know is the answer to what is the cost per square meter or per square foot of building. So you can approach builders hypothetically and say, look, I've got this project. Maybe I want to build a rear extension, a 6 by 6 meter rear extension or whatever it is. Can you give me a build cost for it? And ask 2 or 3 builders that question, get their answer, and then just get an average. And that's going to give you your high level assumption of what the cost will be per square meter or per square foot, depending on how they price it. So it's not, I couldn't really give you an exact answer, but I can tell you to kind of how to find it out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, does that help?
Yeah, thanks.
Perfect.
I've got a quick question, right? So I'm quite new to this whole property thing. Like, what resources would you recommend I look at, whether that be books, YouTube channels, or things I can do like on a weekly basis, just to kind of get up to speed on this?
Podcasts. So you got loads of free stuff out there. TED Talks, Property Talks, Progressive Property. There are so many podcasts out there. There are access to free YouTube videos and YouTube channels. My battery is about to die, so bear with me. Sorry, let me just quickly run for my charge. 1 sec. Paul, do you want to just carry on answering the question?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Really, there's a lot of YouTube. YouTube's a fantastic resource for a lot of free stuff. As far as books are concerned, there's so, I wouldn't want to recommend any, but there are so many property related books. I mean, Simon Zucchi's got a book out there. Rob Moore and Mark Homer have got books out there. They're big in the property community. There's a lot, but I'd start with YouTube. And certainly look. And this is why it would be good to, when we were having events, to come along, because when you start mixing in the property crowds, people will explain, you know, I'll read this, look at that, or look at this video. I'm not great with that. I couldn't recommend one or another, but they are out there. I'm sure if you just search on property investment, you'll come across plenty.
Loads of Facebook forums. You know, there's the joy of being a newbie at this moment in time is that your resources are huge. You know, back when I sort of first started, you know, there was no one to kind of turn to, but, you know, you've got groups like this now, you've got Facebook forums, you've got free YouTube content all over the place. So the opportunity to learn now is huge. And I would say one of the things you want to do is not do it on a weekly basis, but try and do it on a daily basis. You know, you can listen to a 30-minute podcast every single day. That's not going to hurt you. You know, you can put aside an hour a day to do some reading. But yeah, I mean, be around people that are doing what it is that you want to do, and then obviously learn from them. You know, ask a lot of questions. Don't be shy to ask, because if you don't ask your question remains unanswered. So until you actually ask it, we won't be able to tell you. You know, whoever it is that you're trying to seek that resource from. So don't be shy. Everyone's new. Everyone started somewhere. It's just like learning to drive, learning to walk, learning to talk. We all started somewhere. We all had to take baby steps. But, you know, now you have an opportunity and access to so much valuable resource. Just use it. It's there at your fingertips.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay.
So just to append that, we have our Facebook group, we have the Telegram chat group, we've got an Instagram page, you know, so just connect with us and get involved. And if there's questions you need to ask, just ask them. Our details are readily available. If you feel the need to give us a call or drop us a message, I'm sure one of the team would be happy to sort of point in the right direction. So, you know, just get connected, bro, yeah?
Have we got time to discuss the deal still? Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Sorry, it's Fabian, Paul. Sorry, I joined a bit late. I was in the webinar jam by accident. So.
Hello, Fabian. Hi.
Yes.
Hi.
How you doing?
Yes. Good. Yeah, go on, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'll speed it up. Yeah. So it's an apartment that I'm looking at. So basically, it's a converted old church, and it's been converted into studio, a 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom apartments. So it's in North Wales, Colwyn Bay.
Colwyn Bay, yeah.
So I don't really know much about the area, to be fair. I know it's close to like Chester and Liverpool. And go on, sorry.
What's the postcode up that way?
I can tell you in a sec.
Colwyn Bay.
Colwyn Bay. So I know it's North Wales, but I'm not sure about kind of like I know that the rooms appear to be quite small based on the fact that they're designed for like short lets or AST. It's like a sort of touristy type area as well. So like serviced accommodation type things or short lets basically.
So, all right, my first thing that I would say right now is the short let market is dead.
He's dead, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no one's traveling. You know, Airbnb and Booking.com have blocked out everybody's calendars. It's dead. So you need to look at this, even if that's the long-term objective. Yeah. My first thing would be, you know, what is it going to work on an AST, and is there any demand for that? First of all, if you're looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what an AST is, Fabian?
So I've done some research on it, yeah, but essentially is it like a very short-term let?
No.
Like 6 months, 3 months?
No, an AST is like a standard tenancy agreement. So rather, you know, your question, I'm assuming, is about, is this going to be viable as a serviced accommodation short-term, which is what I'm assuming is your question.
Yeah.
Paul is saying that basically no.
That market's dead, yeah.
That market's dead because no one can travel, so on and so forth. So the potential option is to look at its viability as a tenanted. So you rent it out for a 12-month period, which will prove to ride this storm. And then at the end of that 12 months, let's say we've come out the other side of it, then you would be able to look at the viability of it becoming a short-term let, subject to restrictions being lifted and stuff like that. So the AST is an assured short hold tenancy. So it's actually, you know, what we would sign up a standard single let property with, as opposed to, you know, what it is that you're initially talking about, which is your service accommodation.
Okay, got you.
All
right. Thank you for that.
So, what's the? How did you find them? What's the cost? What do you want? Do you want us to run through it and have a look?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah.
All right.
So I've got a question as well around something that I read on it.
Go on.
I'm just trying to find it. So it's something to do with the tax on it. It says the developer's not taking the capital allowances on the building. So investor benefit of being able to claim them. I don't know what the...
That would only be
Capital allowances is, sorry.
that would only be useful, I think, if you're buying the whole block.
Right, okay, got you.
What is it? A house? What are we actually talking about here?
Yeah. Have you got something I can look at? Have you got a link or it's in Colwyn Bay? I get that, but
Yeah, hang on.
I'm quite
Let
happy
me-
we're quite happy to look directly at it and
Okay,
make
cool. I've got something I can email you quickly.
Put it in the chat.
So is it a deal that has been someone is trying to sell to you?
Yeah, it's a deal that someone's packaged, yeah, and trying to sell. It's like an agent trying to sell it, basically. Yeah,
Be very wary of any deal right now where an agent is trying to sell you something in a
okay.
market that is dead.
Yeah.
I would just walk away from that. I wouldn't even waste. Where are you based, Fabian?
So I'm based in North London, Tottenham area.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I mean, look,
I don't even know where Colwyn Bay is. Do you?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know much about the area either. So
look,
I kind of worked out what my thoughts were anyway. But I just wanted to bring it for just to sort of test it out and see what the general consensus is.
With all due respect, Fabian, the first
Yep.
thing I do is say thank you, but no thank you to whoever that was trying to sell that to me.
Yeah.
Some of the questions that you've asked made it very clear to me that you was unsure of what it was that you're actually getting into in the first instance. So,
Yeah.
you need to be clear yourself that whatever opportunity is being presented to you, I'm assuming you have a strategy, you have a goal, you have a target of what it is that you're trying to achieve in property, right? Is service accommodation what you're looking at?
I think I'm open because I'm new as well, to be fair. So
Right.
I'm just sort of like open to any possibilities, I suppose.
Okay, so let me help you as a new person to invest in.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you brought this because if you hadn't, you could well quite easily have been misled. So
Yeah.
if you're new and you don't understand something doesn't mean you should take on everything that someone brings to you.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, the fact that someone's trying to sell you an opportunity for service accommodation in a dead market doesn't fill you with any confidence about that person that has brought that deal to you.
Okay.
If it's not viable for serviced accommodation,
Yeah.
then I want to research exactly what opportunity would be available to me within that property, within that area. But you're in North London, I'm in South London. I definitely wouldn't be looking at an opportunity in Colwyn Bay unless I was able to get my feet on the ground first.
Yeah.
It's all good looking at Google Street View and all that kind of stuff and doing high level analysis, but I need to get my feet on the ground in an area that I'm potentially going to invest tens of, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds in.
Yeah.
So unless you're planning to go to Colwyn Bay and get a feel for the area, understand what the market is, either as service accommodation, which is nothing at the moment,
Yeah.
or as renting to families. What are your room rates? What's the local housing allowance out there? There's so many questions that you would need to ask
Right.
before you even considered taking this deal on.
Okay.
But I can tell you pretty much that I'd be saying no to this before I even did anything else on it at all.
Cool. That's very clear. Thank you.
It's clear, but I hope it was helpful. I know it hasn't really kind of answered any questions for you, but you need to understand that not every opportunity that presents itself is an opportunity just because you want to or need to do something. It still has to fit what it is you're trying to achieve. It still has to give you a decent return on investment. It still cash flow. It still has to meet your stress test. Right now, people can't pay rents. They can't travel. So there's so many things that they can't do right now that this opportunity will not be able to fulfill. If this was in North London, wherever it is that you're from, 10 minutes, 15 minutes from your house, you understand the market, you understand the opportunities, you understand the viability of it. It's something that would be worth taking a bit more time to look into. But Colwyn Bay, I know nothing about. And based on what you've said, I don't want to know much more, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool. That's what I was thinking anyway. So yeah, thanks you for reaffirming that.
I concur with what he said.
Yeah.
But let me just throw it out there. I mean, guys, everyone else that's on the call, what would your initial thoughts be about an opportunity to you in exactly as it is, Colwyn Bay potential service accommodation? What would you guys think?
No, no for me. Especially because it's service accommodation, and in the current climate we're in, it's hard to actually get somebody to rent it to. Also, I have been bothered by a number of people with a number of agents with deals just trying to shift anything so that they can make money. So I'll be wary of that. Also wary because it's in a location that we can't get to because of lockdown. So you can't actually go there and see how viable it is. So for me, it would be a no.
Can I just ask, I think, Fabian, did you start off saying it was a converted barn?
Church.
So it's a converted church.
So has the work already been done?
No, it hasn't. No.
Are they selling it off plan?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Definitely.
No, then.
You're getting involved in something where there's no clear exit. You know, for you to develop that into service accommodation units, that exit doesn't exist right now, so it's a no-go.
Yeah.
You know, there are more questions than answers that come out of that opportunity, which means it's heavily weighted to a no decision, basically.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, though, just with my deal head on, sounds like the developers in a spot of bother. So the only way that deal might make any sense is if you were buying the whole thing at 30% of its value because it's not built. Like,
okay.
My view on everything is there's always a deal somewhere. There is a price. But for you, starting out, Colwyn Bay from North London, serviced accommodation, alarm bells, walk away from it. That one's not for you. Yeah?
Cool.
But thanks for bringing it down, Fabian. And
thank you. We appreciate it.
Like I was saying to Ola earlier, unless you ask these questions, you're not going to know the answer. So you needed to ask these questions and you needed to have frank answers given to you, which hopefully you've received. So, as Bethany said, just be aware of what's flying around in the market at the moment.
Yeah.
Because people are, everyone's in a difficult situation. So people are just trying to offload whatever it is that they can, to whoever they can offload it to. And you read a line, something about the investor will benefit from capital appreciation or uplifting something that the developer hasn't. All of that is just floss. They're just trying to sell you something. They're just trying to put some ice and sugar on top of it, and it's sour as hell. So so just be aware of what it is. And what I'm saying to you is don't not look at opportunities. Still take opportunities. If people are offering you stuff, by all means look at it. But before you commit, just make sure you talk to someone who knows. Come onto these calls weekly, come in the group or whatever it is, and just make sure you're asking the questions and getting some frank, genuine answers. But like I said, there is potentially an opportunity if someone who's more experienced, got a little bit of capital sitting in the bank and is more risk averse, so is potentially willing to take on something that they know they can get at a steal and potentially build it out into something else that by the time we come out of this, they can sell it on and make a profit. So there is a deal there for someone. Just for you, it's potentially not the right first deal.
Not right for me, yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's fine. Brilliant, man. Thank you.
Perfect. So thank you for that. If there was anything else, I think we should wrap it up. We try and keep them short and sweet so that people don't fall asleep on their keyboards and don't get bored. Obviously you came on a little bit later, so we're just giving you the time to sort of talk it through. I don't know if you saw the one we was looking at earlier, which was a plot next to the side of a house. That's a genuine off-market deal. No one's trying to forcefully sell that and get rid of some rubbish. Yeah. We potentially have identified an opportunity. So that's the kind of things you want to be looking for. Something that you've identified, you can potentially add value to it. You're controlling and figuring out and working out all the numbers. You know what to offer. Bang, there's your first opportunity. But someone who's trying to sugarcoat, you know, a bag of rubbish is not great.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for that.
Brilliant.
All right, guys.
Lovely to see you, Lisa. Lovely to see you. Ola and Fabian, can't see you guys, but lovely to see you.
Everybody.
Dylan, you was quiet today, so I hope you're cool. And Paul, as always, enough respect, my brother.
Yeah.
Mike.
Until the next one, guys.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
take care. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.